We're here in the Hyundai Texans radio studio with head coach DeMeco Ryans. Coach, how's it going?
Going great. How you guys doing?
Doing well. Well, congratulations on the latest victory. And as happy as everybody is about the win, I get the feeling talking to the players that they want more, Coach, that they feel like there's a standard to be met. They want to play even better.
I love that about our players. I love that mindset. That's the growth mindset that we talked about throughout the offseason and continue to talk about through the season. Right, we're never satisfied with where we are, and we always want everyone to focus on where are those one or two areas where I can improve. Mistakes that I've made, how can I clean those up to help us have a better game, right? You always want to win the game. That's always the goal. But we think within that game we could have played much better in all areas. We could have played much better, and our guys understand that.
Coach, defensively, well, first of all, it's been 6 weeks that you're like the heart is struggling right now, Coach.
No
this
doubt.
is like 6 weeks in a row, but you came up with the defensive stops at the end. You and I talked about a little bit about the approach. I want to go into that a little bit more of not letting Kyler stand back there and just kind of having his look. You were going to force a decision on him, and in particular on 4th and 8, Will was able to get through there, and Steven got the knockdown. What was kind of your thought process in that last final drive? When did you know this is the final drive? Because we were kind of talking about on the broadcast, okay, is there a chance that, well, maybe they scored, you get the ball back? When did you kind of get a feeling, okay, this is the final drive of the game?
Right. Well, I felt like we were going to stop them. We had a long third down, I think like a 3rd and 12. I felt like we should have got, a big stop there when they were backed up, but we allowed them to drive down. I think Dortch ended up catching a pass, and we missed a ton of tackles. It's like, oh, man, here we go again.
Yeah.
So knew we, at that point, once they crossed midfield, right, I knew we had to kind of tighten it up, put the pressure on Kyler at that point to really force him to get some stop. Didn't think it would be the last drive, but I kept looking up, and time continued to dwindle and look up. We had a big 3rd down there. We got really good pressure by Petrie, and I think Christian Harris knocked the ball down, and we were able to step up again. And then Will Anderson comes away, with the play of the game, getting pressure, and also Steven Nelson getting a big PBU.
Yep.
It had to be touchy because you had timeouts, and had they gotten the first down with that 4th down attempt that ultimately ended their threat, were you thinking, all right, now I got to use timeouts maybe because we're going to run out of time in case they do score? That had to be tough to figure out.
Yeah. Only thing on my mind at that point was stopping them. Like, it's time for us to stand up, right, and make a big-time stop, and our guys, they definitely did it.
Going against Kyler this year versus previous years, obviously you coordinated against him, and I can't remember if you guys played against him, after he had gotten hurt, but how different was it? How different was the approach, if at all? Because it sure looked like that was not a guy that had an ACL tear, that's for sure. He seemed to be running and moving at about the same rate. But how was it going against him before and after the injury?
Yeah, he's definitely healthy now. And when you have a healthy Kyler Murray, that's when you're nervous. We were always nervous when I was back in San Francisco. If we played him early in the year when he was fresh and he was healthy, it's just the speed and elusiveness that he has. It's just no one in the league that has that type of ability, right? And nobody on your team can match that look when you're trying to practice against those looks. Like Kyler, really good arm strength, really good arm, right? Decisive with the football. So was still there with the quick game passes, the deep throws, and then just his ability to scramble around and keep plays alive. That's what makes him a tough quarterback to play against.
You brought up Christian Harris making plays. Blake Cashman, 19 tackles, amazing. Has the sack, green dot, and you have no Denzel. You have no Henry yesterday. It's another Texan situation of certain guys aren't available. Other guys have to step up.
Seems to be the theme of our year. Like, who's in the lineup? Well, we'll see. But proud of all those guys. And we've done it all throughout the years. First, it was the offensive line and all the different guys, different mix-up in the lineup. And now seems like on defense, now we have a bunch of different guys in there at different times. But I love the just approach and the mentality. Like, no one really cares, right? And my approach to those guys, I don't care who's in. Like, we are counting on you to do your job to the best of your ability. It really doesn't matter. You're not out here by yourself. There are 10 other guys that are going to help you do your job. You just do it to the best of your ability.
Coach, I should know this, but did you score a touchdown in the NFL?
One time.
What did you do to celebrate?
Oh, I think I just
remember?
threw my hands up and was just running around with the football. Yeah, it was.
So you didn't jump literally into the stands like your rookie wide receiver did?
My hops are not as good as Tank Dale. I probably wouldn't have made it.
Stands after the touchdown. You and I talked just after that touchdown. And it was amazing because as I'm starting to ask you a question, the crowd is giving you that ovation going off the field. And a lot of it obviously was because Tank had just scored. What kind of juice does he just give this entire organization?
Electric, man. It's electric. Like he inspires everyone. Like with his playmaking ability, his route running ability, when you really slow it down and you really get a chance to really look at his route run, like as I told the guys, he puts defenders in a blender.
Yep.
Right? He really mixes them up, have them sideways. But Tank is a explosive playmaker. And I always say this, like pop on his U of A's tape.
Oh, yeah.
And he did it for the Cougs a lot, right? Made a lot of big plays. And to see him continue that in the NFL, right, man, he's a fun player to watch. Probably my favorite player. If I had to get a jersey, I'm probably getting a Tank Dell jersey.
That's great stuff. Well, you mentioned him at the University of Houston. That doesn't always translate, though, Coach. So you might not have known it until you saw it in the NFL. What makes the difference there? Because clearly he's working on his game and getting better week to week.
Yeah, he's truly working on his game. He's really detailed in his route running ability. Right, that's the one thing that sets him apart. He's very detailed. His approach, the way he practices throughout the week, he's very detailed, deliberate in how he practices. I think it's just that vibe and connection that him and CJ has. Right, CJ truly trusts Tank. That's why he probably gets a few more opportunities with the ball, but he comes down with those catches. Right, CJ knows that Tank is going to make those plays for him. And Tank is a smaller player, so that was something you were probably worried about, his size coming into the NFL. But he's so elusive that they can't hit him, right? He doesn't take a big hit because he's just so crafty at the top of his route, so he's always open.
He's tough. He's taken some hits, and he's gotten up from most of them, kind of like Kyler Murray. Boy, the hit that Christian put on Kyler on the sideline was right in front of me. I'm like, he popped right back up as if it was nothing. You and I talked a little bit, Coach, after the game about Derek Stingley and the interception. Just watching that interception and seeing the mechanics of playing defensive back, I don't know how you played any better, how you look for the ball and find the ball and then make the catch. But he also had to play on the dig. He had to stop on fourth down. When Sting is healthy, how important is it to have him in your defense?
Man, it's huge. When Sting can step up and make those type of plays for us, that makes our defense completely different, right? He can make us truly a top 10 defense by making those type of plays. Like if people want to try him again and throw a deep ball, when you go up and they see on film that you're making those plays, they stop going at you, right? They try to go somewhere else with the football. So the way he's playing, he can eliminate a lot of things, right, the week before when we play because they see the plays that he's making. He's continuing to grow. He's a young player. He's continuing to grow, and I love what he did yesterday in making a few plays. I think that builds his confidence, and it builds confidence in his teammates around him of seeing his capabilities show up.
And Steven Nelson, he's a stopper, right? Against the Saints, comes up with a big play at the end. Against the Cardinals yesterday, comes up with a huge play at the end as well.
Right, Steven, and he's probably had his most consistent game yesterday, right? Complete game, whether it was setting the edge on the perimeter when it came to screens or runs. And for him he played sticky in coverage all game and made the big PBU there at the end of the game. So Steven has been very consistent throughout the year. The way him and Sting play on the outside together, right, we can be definitely a problem for a lot of teams.
Coach, we've talked all year long. I don't know how many times we've come in here and said, hey, Coach, how are we going to get the run game going? Coach, how are we going to get the run game going? I'll ask it this way. How do we keep the run game going at this pace that we've had the last couple weeks?
We have to stay after with our offensive line. I think just mentality-wise, attitude-wise, like we have to have that mindset that we're going to move people up front.
Yeah.
And when we play with low pad level and we move people with the determined mindset, that's how the run game is going to work. Motor has done a great job of running the football, finding some lanes, and those lanes are there because of the way our wide receivers block. Their intention to detail in the block, to block is great. The tight ends are getting better. O-line just has to continue and improve, and also, get opportunity to add Damian back this week and see how he can help as well, having that balance of him and Motor. I think our run game can continue to soar.
Well, and they're among the groups that feel like they can take it to another level because George Fant was saying after the game, they want to be the best line in the league. and he might be one of the best tacklers in the league, as it turns out. What about him chasing down the linebacker that intercepted the pass?
What a play by George. You talk about, seeing him and Titus, seeing both of them take off. Wow, those guys were moving, but what a big play by him, right? We don't want to give up the interception,
right.
But to get the guy stopped, right? It takes that effort by George, that extreme effort to go and get the guy down. Not only did he get him down, he was actually trying to punch the ball out as well. So for him to have that mindset, that was a big-time play for us.
Boy, he's going to get kudos from the defensive staff for that,
sure.
man. He's trying to get the ball out.
Need the ball.
Speaking of interception, Coach, I know we all saw 3 interceptions for CJ, but we also saw him throw for 300-plus for the 3rd straight game. Saw him throw those touchdowns. Obviously, the ball in the tank was incredible. And so it's kind of this thought pattern of, boy, he's done so well. But then you have a game like that, with those with those interceptions in the red zone. How do you kind of approach that with CJ? I love what he said afterwards, like, look, shoot or shoot. That's just what you're going to do. And maybe you don't even have to worry about it because he's just going to go right back on the hump and get it done. But what's kind of the approach with CJ after a game where he did turn the ball over a few more times than we know he wanted to?
Yeah, you highlight the things that he's did well, right? He made a lot of big-time plays in that game, right? A lot of explosives. I think we had 12 explosive passes in that game. You highlight those things. That was the second most explosives that we've had in a game this year.
Wow.
So you highlight that success that he's had. Third down. Our best third down this year. So all of those positive things we highlight, and on the interception, we talk about 3 bad plays. Well, he just has to clean up his footwork, and I think he understands that we can't miss. We don't have to force the ball right when our footwork tells us to go to somewhere else in the progression. We just got to move on, right, and not put our team in a bad situation where you're not protecting the football.
So along those lines, Coach, you brought that up with footwork. That's a fundamental thing. You talk about footwork all the time. I've always been curious about at the NFL level because there's always, we're working on scheme. We're working on scheme. We're getting ready for the Cardinals. We're getting ready for the Jaguars. How important do the fundamentals become, and how much for you as the head coach and the coaching staff to remind them, hey, don't forget about your fundamentals. Even though we're talking about what we're going to do against this offense and this defense, the fundamentals remain extremely important.
Yeah, the fundamentals are huge, and especially as you continue to play in better football till you play tight games, it's going to come down to the fundamental. Everybody is good, right? But how do you separate yourself? It's being dialed in on the fundamentals to be able to make that split-second decision, to have your footwork in a proper place where you can speed it up and get the ball to your receiver at the proper time, right? Whether it's fundamentals in tackling, putting your body position in the right way, in the right position, putting your head in the right spot. Like all of those small things, that's what's going to matter, right, as we continue to play these next games.
Dalton Schultz sliding into the end zone. Have you ever seen anything quite like that?
Never seen anything like that. I saw the TV replay where he was like, literally, it's like slow-mo, and he's just sliding in, and the defender is kind of like he's trying to miss him. That's such a cool moment for Dalton. And Dalton has been having, these past few weeks, he's having some really big games for us. Dalton was a nice, you talk about a tough catch, right? The catch, then being able to slide in the end zone, that's a nice highlight reel.
Yeah, it definitely is. That's behind us now, Coach, and now it's the Jaguars. It's a team we've seen before. We know them from the division. We went there to Jacksonville and beat them a few weeks ago. And I know you're probably not all the way into the Jaguars study, but just what you remember from the game, what they've done the last few weeks. How dangerous of a team is this coming to NRG on Sunday?
Dangerous team. I think they're playing on some of their best ball. They're confident in how they played, especially this last week versus the Titans. And it's going to be a good matchup. I know they're going to come in with everything they have, seeing what happened the last game. Not that the last game matters, but when you put it on a team like that, they're coming in with everything that they have. So we have to be on our A game. When it comes to all 3 phases, right? We can't rely on what happened the last game. That's the first thing I'm telling you. It doesn't matter what happened the last game. Like, how are we approaching this game this week, and how are we getting better? It starts with, I think, the running game, right? The quarterback, with him being able to move well. Athletic quarterback, he can make plays with his feet, right? So we got to stop ETN. You got to stop the quarterback from moving, muddy up the pocket for him, force him to have to throw the ball multiple times in a game. And I think we can get a few hopefully we can get a few interceptions off of him if we play well up front with our defensive line.
What's it like having these back-to-back games at home? I know there's one next week, but we won't get to that. It's just that you don't have to go on the road this week, and that's unique based on what's happened previously this season.
It's relaxing to be able to not have to worry about traveling. Like, you can really, like, just hone in, sitting at the house, right, being at home, being comfortable. And it's fun just playing in front of your home crowd. And it's just the energy, the buzz, like, man, NRG is a special place, right? And the way our fans showed up on last Sunday, it's fun. Our players feel that. I feel it when they're doing the introductions. You see how loud the fans get.
Yep.
Like, there's a buzz, there's an energy around NRG Stadium that we just love playing in front of our home crowd.
All right, you're a very positive person, Coach, but is there some bitterness that you never got to wear a battle red helmet?
Oh, yeah.
Because those are sweet looking. So you must think about that. I wore the battle red uniform, but never got to wear the helmet.
Yeah, definitely. The red,
nice.
Man, those are sweet. And I've been trying to push to get the red to be the primary color, but they won't let me go that far. But I really love the red helmets. Just think the guys they feel a different type of way when they put on their red helmet. There's a different energy, right, from our guys as well.
All right, Coach, we got to ask this. Normally Mark asks this, but I'm going to kind of jump in front because I'll try and say this as nicely as possible. It is Thanksgiving this week, so big holiday. We all love that. We all love the holiday of Thanksgiving, but all of us have chosen to be in football, so we also know there's a game at the end of the weekend that we have to get at the end of the week that we have to get ready for. So how do you kind of blend the two to make sure that family is absolutely given thanks for, but then we got to get ready to play a big game on Sunday?
All right, we'll have our guys come in. All right, Thursday we'll have them come in a little earlier. Try to get them out like 12:30 so they can spend time with their family that afternoon of Thanksgiving. But I told our guys too, this morning, like, we don't have Thanksgiving. It's like we're thankful for our families and all they do. Yeah. But for us, man, Thanksgiving is going to be on Sunday evening after a win. That's when you're going to enjoy Thanksgiving the most. If we handle business the right way on Sunday, right, our focus this week is Jacksonville. Yep. We love Thanksgiving. We're thankful for a lot of things. But right now, we're grinding to get a win.
It's a great point because you can't enjoy the holidays unless you're doing your job well, and doing your job well means winning, right?
Yeah. That's it. It's all about winning and what's their result at the end of the week. So don't go and try to eat too much, guys. Right. Don't worry.
Yeah.
You can save all that for Sunday evening.
That's the answer that I was hoping for. That's the one I was looking for. The win is what you're thankful for.
Yes.
Right. And if you go celebrate and get too fat and happy and lose, well, then what were you celebrating for?
All right. Along those lines, though, Amegy Bank Ask Coach question of the week. Thanksgiving. All right, so we have decisions to make here. You have to cut a dish. You have to put a dish on waivers, all right? And then you have to select an MVP dish. So give us the MVP and one that you are saying bye-bye to.
Oh, the MVP dish would be sweet potato casserole.
Okay.
Oh, so what do I have to cut?
So good. Yeah.
You have to cut one.
Pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie.
Yes. I knew I loved you, Coach. I knew I loved you.
So we like pecan pie.
Nah. Sweet potato pie. Apple pie is all right. I'm a sweet potato guy. Sweet potato pie guy.
But the casserole's different because it's served with the dinner, but it's sweet, right?
You get that little bit of sweet to go with the savory, and then you finish it off a little later.
There you go.
It's like you just dip your toe into the water full on, as opposed to a full-on dive in. That's fine.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, sweet potato casserole is absolutely acceptable.
All right, Coach. Well, thanks a lot for joining us, and best of luck this week.
Thank you, guys.